I only took the dog to be neutered, but my girlfriend demanded we break up. So I pulled out 30,000 yuan and told the vet not to use anesthesia, because inside that dog's body was the soul of the man she could never forget. Qinyi, while I am away on business, you must take good care of Guangguang. If anything happens to Guangguang, we are through. As she spoke, Guangguang walked obediently toward me. Seeing this familiar scene, I realized I had been reborn. In my past life, Xuan adored this dog. She even wanted the dog to sleep beside her. So, she drove me into another room. In the end, it even gave me rabies. At the very end of my life, I clearly heard Xuan say, "This is wonderful, Yiran. Now, we can be together forever." Looking at the docile dog before me, I never could have imagined that this dog was Zhou Yiran, the man she could never forget. Before leaving, Xuan crouched down. She gathered Guangguang into her arms. Her voice sickeningly sweet. "Sweetheart, you are not allowed to eat kibble these next few days. Qinyi will make your favorite braised pork. If you sneak anything else to eat, Mommy will not speak to you when she gets back." Then she stood and shot me a vicious glare. She added, "Remember, if you dare feed him kibble, we are breaking up." I nodded, smiling. "Do not worry. I will make him braised pork myself." Only then did Xuan leave, satisfied. The moment the door shut, Guangguang bared his teeth at me. He looked as though he were saying, "You had better serve me well. Do not think I am easy to bully just because I am a dog now." I did not actually know what Zhou Yiran was thinking then, but this scene was exactly the same as in my past life. Last time, I could tolerate him baring his teeth at me. What I could not stand was how he always sneaked into my room to pee when I was not looking. He never ate kibble either. He insisted on eating the food I cooked, and it had to be snatched from my bowl. Whenever Guangguang misbehaved, just as I was about to discipline him, Xuan would immediately jump in and blame me instead. Over time, I became the lowest-ranking member of this household, remembering everything from my past life. I sneered inwardly. "You like peeing, do you? This time, I will let you pee all you want." When I turned toward the kitchen to cook, Guangguang finally put away his fangs. Looking smug, he trotted off. I needed to find something to keep this little bastard busy. I could not let him sit idle. While I was cooking, he secretly slipped into my room again. I did not stop him. After all, this would be the last time he ran wild in there. Soon, the rich scent of braised pork filled the air. I put some into the dog bowl first, then served myself a bowl. While the dog was distracted, I took out the sleeping pills I had prepared and quickly mixed them into my bowl. Sure enough, Guangguang caught the scent and ran right over. But he did not even glance at his dog bowl. He went straight for mine, lowering his head to steal it. "You think eating is going to be that easy? I have been waiting for you." Pretending to be angry, I barked, "Get lost." He ignored me completely, wolfing down the meat from my bowl. Before long, he had nearly finished it. Then he kicked my bowl onto the floor. But when he looked up and saw my icy smile, he suddenly panicked. Something is wrong. Did he drug me? Realizing the danger, he charged wildly toward the water bowl. Water could dilute the drug, but I had already poured it all out. I had even locked the bathroom door. Guangguang bared his teeth and growled at me, as if demanding, "Qinyi, what did you feed me? Xuan will never forgive you." Ignoring his barking, I slowly took out my phone and called the veterinary clinic. "Hello, I would like to schedule a procedure. In 1 hour, I will bring my dog in to be neutered." At the word neutered, Guangguang trembled with rage. He lunged at me, barking furiously. "You dare hurt me? I will kill you." Unfortunately, he was only a small dog. Before he could bite me, I kicked him away. If I had not been careless in my past life, this little thing could never have hurt me. After that kick, Guangguang instantly cowered. He lay on the floor in a pleading pose, begging me to spare him. I gave a cold laugh. "Since you are my dog now, getting you neutered is what is best for you. This is all for your own good." Seeing that begging would not work, he desperately tried to lunge at me again. But by then, the medicine had begun to take effect. He staggered a few steps and collapsed. I was about to grab him and take him to the clinic, when the doorbell suddenly rang. My heart tightened. Could Xuan be back already? I nervously opened the door and froze for a moment. A courier stood outside. "Mr. Qin, your delivery." I did not remember ordering anything. When I took the package and checked it, the label said it was a necklace. Was it a gift from Xuan? But something felt off. The next second, a message from Xuan came through. "Qinyi, the necklace I bought for Guangguang has arrived. Remember to sign for it." The courier smiled and handed me the receipt. Cash on delivery. 30,000 yuan total. Xuan had actually bought something so expensive for a dog, and she expected me to pay for it. We had been together for 3 years. Yet the most expensive gift she ever gave me cost less than 200 yuan. At that thought, my chest tightened with resentment. I shoved the package back into the courier's hands. I do not want it. That money should be spent where it truly belongs. With that, I grabbed Guangguang by the scruff and headed straight to the veterinary clinic. At the clinic, I looked at the sleeping Guangguang. Nausea and rage surged in my chest. All the emotions I had suppressed for so long churned inside me, finally becoming a nearly inaudible sneer. I whispered, "Zhou Yiran, enjoy learning what it feels like to be a dog. Once the procedure succeeds, Guangguang will be completely fixed, and Xuan's obsession should finally end." Outside the operating room, the vet handed me a pre-surgery consent form. Without hesitation, I signed Xuan's name. I have two more requests. First, no anesthesia throughout the procedure. Second, do not finish in one cut. Make several cuts, slowly. The vet paused in shock. "Sir, is that not rather inhumane?" I pulled out 30,000 yuan and handed it over. "Do as I say." Just then, Guangguang woke up. He heard our conversation, then saw the tools in the vet's hand. He was so terrified that he wet himself. No anesthesia and several cuts. All I did was pee on his bed and steal his food. Did he have to be this cruel? I smiled coldly. "Zhou Yiran, perfect timing. You are awake." When I called him by his real name, Guangguang froze completely. Nothing but terror remained in his eyes. He still tried to struggle, but in the hands of a professional vet, all resistance was futile. Ignoring his struggles, the vet carried him toward the operating table. Just then, my phone rang. It was Xuan. The moment I answered, her furious roar came through. "Kinyi, are you insane? The necklace I bought for Guangguang. Who gave you permission to return it?" I sneered. "Xuan, you bought a necklace for a dog. Why should I pay for it?" There was silence on the other end for several seconds. Then Xuan's voice grew even harsher. "Kinyi, you have some nerve. I am coming home right now. You had better explain yourself to my face." When she stormed through the front door, she found that I was gone. "Kinyi, where did you take Guangguang?" My tone was calm. "Guangguang keeps urinating everywhere. Since you refused to deal with it, I had no choice but to have him neutered. He is in the operating room now." Just then, a piercing howl came from the operating room at just the right moment. Xuan's scream nearly tore through my eardrums. "Kinyi, have you lost your mind? Guangguang is my son. How dare you touch him? Where are you? Bring him back immediately. If you have him neutered, I will never let you get away with it." I tightened my grip on the phone. My voice was cold as ice. "Xuan, Guangguang is nothing but a stray you picked up. Neutering him is for his own good. Why are you so agitated? Is there something you are hiding?" Xuan panicked instantly. "What nonsense are you talking about? What could I possibly be hiding? Can you stop having such a filthy mind?" I did not want to hear any more. I hung up. Not long afterward, Xuan rushed into the hospital, gasping for breath. She nearly knocked over a nurse as she lunged toward the operating room. Seeing Guangguang stitched up and curled weakly on the operating table, she froze as if struck by lightning. "Guangguang," she reached out with trembling fingers. The moment her fingertips touched his ear, her tears began to fall in heavy drops. Guangguang let out a weak whimper. His tail gave a feeble wag. Why did you not come?" Xuan spun around. Her nails nearly dug into my arm. "Kinyi, do you know what you have done? Guangguang is my son. How dare you?" I shook off her hand. My voice was as cold as a scalpel. "Xuan, he is only a stray dog you picked up. Neutering is good for dogs. You need to come to your senses. You are raising a dog, not a human being." Those words seemed to wound her. Xuan suddenly broke into hysterical laughter. Her laughter was tangled with sobs. "Kinyi, you are the one who needs to wake up. You are jealous of a dog, jealous that he matters more than you." She lunged at me and clawed at my clothes. Tears and snot smeared across my face. "You are actually competing with the dog for my affection." I clenched my fist. My nails dug into my palms. Yet I remained unnaturally calm. "You are right. I am jealous. In your eyes, I am not even worth as much as a dog. How could I not be jealous?" It was as if all her strength had been drained. She staggered back to steps and collapsed onto a bench. Guangguang struggled closer and rubbed his wet nose against her hand. But she stared fixedly at the floor. Silent tears fell. "Xuan, This is where we end. She jerked her head up. A viciousness I had never seen before flashed in her eyes. Kinyi, dream on. As long as I do not agree, you can forget about getting rid of me. I let out a cold laugh. I am only informing you. I do not need your consent. I am leaving the city tomorrow. Do not contact me again. Go live your life with your dog. With that, I turned and walked away. I left the woman and her dog sobbing behind me. I returned to the apartment we had once called home. When I opened the door, everything felt familiar yet strange. Without Xuan's voice, the air held nothing but dust and memories. I went into the bedroom to pack. As I opened the wardrobe, a yellowed envelope slipped from the clothes and fell to the floor. My name was written on it in faded blue ink. To Kinyi. I bent down and picked it up. The moment I touched the handwriting, my heart clenched. It was the love letter Xuan had written to me the year she graduated from college. My hands trembled slightly. I opened the envelope. The paper had grown brittle, but I could still smell the faint fragrance of gardenias. It was her favorite scent. You said you would take me to Tibet to see the stars. You said we would raise a little dog named Guangguang together. I laughed and called you childish. But in my heart, I had already carved those words into our future. The final line had blurred beneath a water stain, like a faded flower. I stared at the words. My throat tightened. So, the name Guangguang had been written into our future 8 years ago. Was that why she later went to such lengths? To bring Zhou Yiran back? I sank down beside the bed. Clothes lay scattered across the floor. The setting sun outside bathed the room in orange-red light, just like the day of our graduation ceremony. Just like the sight of her running toward me in a white dress. Back then, Xuan had eyes only for me. There was no dog, no love she could never forget, and no hysterical arguments. The zipper closed with a click, like putting a final period on the past. I took one last look around the room, and gently placed the love letter on the nightstand. This time, I would not take it with me. Some memories belong where they were made, sealed away like specimens. As I carried my suitcase downstairs, a figure blocked my path. Kinyi, where are you going? I looked up. It was Xuan. Kinyi, I was wrong. Can you forgive me this once? She sobbed through her words. As for Guangguang, I sent him away. I took him to an animal shelter outside the city. People there will take care of him. As she spoke, she reached into her bag and pulled out a delicate silver matching bracelet. She fumbled as she held it out to me. My voice was quiet. Xuan, it is too late. She staggered forward. But you said that if I changed, you would forgive me. I bought this couple's bracelet especially for you. In her excitement, the bracelet slipped from her hand and clattered to the floor. Something this out of character had to have a reason. I bent down and picked up the bracelet. After studying it for a few seconds, I spoke. All right, let us start over. Xuan jerked her head up. A delighted light burst through her tear-filled eyes. She nearly threw herself at me and hugged my arm. Really? Kinyi, are you really willing to give me another chance? I let her hold on to me. I had not truly forgiven her. I only wanted to see what scheme she was planning. After a while, she let go of me. Then she slipped the bracelet onto my wrist. I said flatly, I have one condition. She eagerly gripped my hand, as if clinging to a lifeline. I will agree to anything. Bring Guangguang back. Xuan's smile froze. Her gaze darted away. But I just took him to the shelter. Right. You just took him there. I am off tomorrow. We will go get him together. She began rambling incoherently. Kinyi, actually, Guangguang. I stepped forward, backing her into a corner. Did you not throw him away yourself? Xuan's pupils constricted. She shook her head frantically. No, I meant, Guangguang might not adjust to the new environment. Then that is perfect. I took out my phone and opened the map in front of her. The animal shelter outside the city is 30 kilometers away. We can still make it if we leave now. Seeing she could not hide it any longer, Xuan's lips trembled. She could not form a complete sentence. I watched her expression slowly crumble. Then I calmly put away my phone. Tell me the truth. Xuan suddenly crouched down as if breaking apart. She clutched her head in both hands. I never took him to a shelter. In the twilight, her voice was like a dull blade, slowly cutting through the last shred of dignity between us. I locked him in the trunk. I plan to deal with him tomorrow. If you do not like him, I will send him away right now. I waved a hand. Bring him back. Still uncertain, Xuan returned carrying Guangguang. Guangguang curled up in her arms. His once fluffy tail hung limp. He did not dare meet my eyes. Kinyi, look. Guangguang knows he was wrong. Xuan gently stroked Guangguang's face, trying to soothe his trembling body. Guangguang's paws absently clawed at Xuan's sleeve. Tiny whimpers came from his throat. He had never shown me such weakness before. Once arrogant and overbearing, he no longer even dared look at me. My voice was calm to the point of cruelty. Put him down. Xuan's hands froze in midair. She looked at me hesitantly, then at Guangguang in her arms. Finally, she slowly crouched down and placed Guangguang on the floor. The moment Guangguang's paws touched the floor, he immediately curled into a ball. I crouched down and met his gaze. Guangguang shook like a leaf, yet lacked even the strength to run. He remembered the bowl of drugged braised pork I had served. He remembered the cold operating table at the veterinary clinic. He remembered the agony of being neutered without anesthesia. Guangguang desperately pressed himself against Xuan's leg. His paws frantically clawed at her pant leg, as if begging for help, or signaling to Xuan. He already knows who I really am. This man is insane. He recognized me. Get me out of here. Xuan immediately gathered him into her arms. Her voice was thick with tears. Kinyi, he truly knows he was wrong. Look how pitiful he is. Xuan's lips trembled slightly. She lowered her head and kissed Guangguang's forehead, as if comforting an injured child. Kinyi, he will behave from now on. I promise. That is good. The Guangguang who had once been spoiled and tyrannical, who stole my meals and peed on my bed, now even breathed with caution. I turned and walked into the kitchen. I took a bone from the refrigerator and tossed it before Guangguang. He instinctively recoiled. Guangguang, eat. Guangguang hesitantly sniffed the bone, but did not dare take a bite. I crouched down and poked the bone with the knife tip, holding it to his mouth. What's wrong? I bought this especially for you. Are you not going to eat it? Guangguang stared at the knife in my hand. Trembling, he edged forward and pretended to gnaw at the bone. HMPH. Fortunes always change. Kinyi, just you wait. A flicker of displeasure crossed Xuan's face, but she did not dare say more. From now on, he eats dog food and sleeps in a dog bed. Is that clear? Clear. Xuan's eyes held a trace of pity for Guangguang. But, in the middle of the night, when I woke up, I heard Xuan whispering in the living room. I quietly watched through the crack in the door. She had actually ordered Guangguang an expensive sushi meal. Guangguang, I am sorry. You will have to suffer for a little while longer. I have put the Star Soul bracelet on Kinyi's wrist. In just 3 days, you two can exchange Star Souls. Then we can be together forever. I had long suspected Xuan wanted us back together for another reason. But when I learned the truth, my heart still ached. I coldly watched the woman and the dog, plotting a better way to get revenge. Exchange Star Souls, is that it? I would like to see how you pull that off. The next day, I deliberately invited my friend Ag over. He came with his poodle, Keki. Kinyi, I heard Guangguang has been quite feisty lately. Ag grinned, pointing at Keki on the floor. So I brought him to have a little chat with Guangguang. I stepped aside to let them in. Keki immediately rushed inside, tail wagging. In the living room, Guangguang was curled in a corner, gnawing a bone. The next second, the poodle placed a paw on Guangguang's waist. Guangguang let out a shriek. Startled, he scrambled away in panic. Keki would not let up, chasing him around the room. Finally, he cornered Guangguang against the wall and raised his paw again. Keki, stop. Ajit pretended to scold him, though his shoulders shook as he fought back laughter. I stood aside and watched the farce, my lips curling upward to spite myself. Just then, Xuan rushed out of the kitchen, still holding an egg turner. When she saw the scene before her, the turner clattered to the floor, seeing me watching like it was entertainment. Xuan's fury flared even hotter. Kinyi, you fucking did this on purpose. She screamed and lunged at Keki, but I caught her in one swift motion. I lowered my voice. Calm down. The dogs are only playing. We do not need to interfere. Xuan's nails nearly dug into my arm. Her eyes were fixed on the poodle. Guangguang looked at her pleadingly. His tail shook like a dead leaf in the wind. You know Guangguang just got out of the hospital. He is still recovering. How could you? How could I do what? They are just playing around. Do you really have to take it so seriously? Ajit smiled as he chimed in. That is right, sister-in-law. The two dogs are just playing. If Guangguang does not want to, he will move away himself. The dogs do not mind. So why are you upset? Xuan's face darkened, dark as a thundercloud, just as she was about to explode. I tore the bracelet off my wrist and hurled it to the floor. Did you not say I was the most important person in your heart? But now you are giving me attitude over a dog. If that is how it is, take your bracelet and get out. When she saw I had taken off the bracelet, Xuan panicked at once. She hurriedly picked it up, trying to put it back on my wrist. "Qinyi, do not be angry. I was not giving you attitude. I was just a little worried. Please do not be angry." Seeing her back down, I pretended to let my anger go. Agony left after lunch. By then, Guangguang was lying on the floor, looking like he had lost the will to live. "Qinyi, you bastard. Once I have successfully exchanged souls with you, I will make you pay." Before Agony left, I walked him downstairs and handed him a bracelet identical to the one on my wrist. "It is done. Put this bracelet on your pick. Relax. You know you can count on me." The next 3 days stretched like a rubber band, every second keeping Xuan on edge. The first thing she did every morning was check on Guangguang, then make sure I still wore the bracelet she gave me. On the final day of the countdown, Xuan could barely contain her excitement. She even took the day off and decorated the living room like a welcome celebration. She murmured to Guangguang, "Yiran, tonight we will be together forever. At last, we can be together openly." When I got home, Xuan had prepared a whole table of food. I feigned surprise. "What is the occasion today?" Xuan had never cooked before, which showed just how happy she was. What she did not know was that I had already switched the Star Soul bracelet on my wrist. "You will find out soon enough." Xuan thoughtfully stepped up and took my briefcase. When I came out after my shower, Xuan had even lit candles. I looked at Guangguang in the corner. His eyes held smugness and venomous hatred. After enduring humiliation all these days, I can finally become human again. "Qinyi, just wait until I make you suffer." Suddenly, Guangguang collapsed to the floor with a thud. I followed right after, as everything went black, and fell stiffly onto the couch. It worked. It really worked. Xuan threw herself beside me, cupping my face and kissing me frantically. "Yiran, is it you? Can you speak? Yiran, Yiran." I slowly opened my eyes. Her twisted face was reflected in my pupils. "You have suffered so much. Yiran, we finally did it." Crying, Xuan flung herself into my arms. "Now, we can be together forever." Just then, Guangguang woke up too. Xuan kicked him hard. Clearly, she thought my star soul had been transferred into Guangguang. "Qinyi had Guangguang neutered behind my back, and he even let your friend's dog bully Guangguang. Today, I will make you repay every bit of suffering Yiran endured. Tenfold, 100-fold. Watching the nearly deranged Xuan, I silently took out my phone and began recording. A moment later, she brought a bag out of the kitchen, still reassuring me as she did. "Yiran, do not worry. I will make them repay all the wrongs done to you." I said nothing, only nodded quietly. I could only watch as Xuan carried the bag toward the trembling Guangguang. Soon, Guangguang's agonized screams filled the room. I could not help frowning. If I had not uncovered the Star Soul bracelet scheme in time, that would have been my fate. Before long, under Xuan's cruel torture, Guangguang could no longer make a sound. Xuan turned and burrowed back into my arms. "Yiran, I got revenge for you. Are you satisfied now?" I nodded. I quietly emailed the video to Xuan's company. I also attached an explanation I had written long ago. Xuan smiled with particular delight. "Let us eat." Just then, the doorbell rang. It was a package from AG. When I saw what was inside, I gave a cold smile. "Let me cook for you." "Sure. It has been so long since I tasted your cooking." With that, I carried the package into the kitchen. Before long, a plate of fried pork cutlets was ready. Xuan eagerly took the plate. "Yiran, your cooking smells amazing. Then eat plenty." As I spoke, I placed a cutlet in her bowl. Xuan began wolfing it down. "Yiran, yours tastes 10 times better than Qinyi's." She did not notice the icy look in my eyes. She quickly devoured the entire plate of fried pork cutlets. I smiled. Then I slowly took out what AG had sent. "I have a gift for you." Xuan looked eager. "What is it?" I took something out of the package. It was a fresh pig's leg. "Next time, we can roast this pig leg." "Sounds good." The next second, Xuan froze, her face filled with terror. On the pig leg, she saw an identical Star Soul bracelet. A wave of nausea hit Xuan. She clapped a hand over her mouth, but still began violently retching. Her churning stomach made her vision go dark, and her ears rang. I leisurely handed her a tissue, a smile lingering on my lips. "What is wrong? Does my cooking not suit your taste?" She looked up, grease still clinging to the corners of her mouth. Her pupils constricted sharply. "Why is that bracelet on a pig leg?" I gently shook the silver chain in my hand. The star pendant glinted coldly in the candlelight. I picked out a pig at AG's pig farm. Afraid the bracelet might be switched, I put it on the pig. Is there a problem? Xuan's nails dug deep into her palms. She staggered backward. You are not Yiran at all. You switched the Star Soul bracelet long ago. You deliberately made me eat him. Did you not just say it was delicious? Her body began shaking violently. Suddenly, she snatched up a table knife and lunged at me. I sidestepped her attack. She panted heavily, her eyes bloodshot. I will kill you. I sighed. I pulled out my phone and pressed play. Xuan's voice came through the speaker, full of sweet anticipation. Yiran, tonight we will be together forever. She froze where she stood. The table knife clanged onto the floor. The candlelight illuminated her deathly pale face, like an empty shell stripped of its soul. Her voice trembled. You recorded me. When did you find out? I gave a cold laugh. That is no longer important. As I spoke, I ripped the silver bracelet from my wrist and threw it at her face. Your own cleverness has ruined you. We are completely over. I picked up the luggage I had packed long ago and prepared to leave. But Xuan grabbed my pant leg. Did you really kill Yiran? I smiled helplessly. Xuan, what are you talking about? I only had a G slaughter a pig for me. There is no Zhou Yiran. If you are mentally unwell, I suggest you see a doctor soon. With that, I left without looking back. Before I got into my car, Xuan's screams echoed through the apartment hallway. She charged at me like a madwoman. Qinyi, are you out of your damn mind? She clutched her phone. The screen showed a termination email from Human Resources. You sent the video to my company. You made me lose my job. I turned back and said, Xuan, you were the one who brutally abused that dog. You saw me recording it. Her pupils constricted sharply. Then she lunged at me and wrapped her hands around my throat. The instant her nails dug into my skin, I caught that familiar scent of gardenias on her. It was once a fragrance that stirred my heart. Now it was mixed with cheap perfume and the sweat of hysteria, making me sick. Give Yiran back to me. I pried her hands apart and slapped her across the face. Have you forgotten? He died in a car accident 3 years ago. She staggered backward. I watched her broken, vacant expression. The girl who once ran toward me in a white dress was now nothing but an empty shell consumed by obsession. I am calling the police. She grabbed her phone, her fingers frantically swiping across the screen. You killed Zhou Yiran. 20 minutes later, sirens pierced the dusk. 2 officers stood at the door. They took in the wreckage on the floor and hysterical Xuan, then exchanged a knowing glance. Sir, this woman has accused you of murdering her ex-boyfriend. Please cooperate with our investigation. Pointing at me, Xuan told the officers. He put the Star Soul bracelet I gave him on a pig, then slaughtered that pig and fed it to me. A Star Soul bracelet? The 2 officers looked utterly confused. The way they looked at Xuan became strange. It was as if they were looking at a mental patient. Of course, Xuan noticed the officer's reaction. Do you think I am crazy? I shook my head and handed my phone to the officers. Zhou Yiran, her ex-boyfriend, died in a car accident 3 years ago, I said quietly. Then I opened the video. The dog's agonized screams rang out from it. This is evidence that she abused an animal herself. The officers frowned as they studied Xuan. She was curled up in the corner, muttering to the empty air. Yiran, be good. Mommy will buy you a new bracelet. I will transfer your Star Soul back into Qinyi's body. Ma'am, please come with us. Xuan suddenly sprang up. She grabbed a knife and stabbed at an officer. Blood ran down the young officer's cheek. Xuan was eventually subdued. The handcuffs snapped shut. She still howled in defiance. Qinyi has fooled all of you. Zhou Yiran is still alive. A white ambulance from the psychiatric hospital flashed its lights in the darkness. As Xuan was escorted into the ambulance, she suddenly fell quiet. She turned and cried out, Qinyi, please forgive me, will you? The string of blows had driven Xuan completely out of her mind. I watched her quietly and said coldly, I will never forgive you. I am sorry. I am so sorry. And just like that, Xuan was taken away. I did not know why she had become what she was now. Nor did I know how Zhou Yiran's so-called soul had ended up in that dog. I only knew that it was all over. It was time for me to let go of the past and embrace this second chance